I to let you down, down, down?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is look number 2 from the Lorac Pro Palette, and I decided to do kind of like a brown gold smoky eye, and I cut a lash in half so I could get like that cat-like on the outer corner, and then I paired it with this really pretty like fuchsia berry shade. I love this lip color. It's so pretty. Anyway, so if you would like to see how I got this look, please keep watching. To start off this makeup look, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Quick Fix Primer Spray, and then I'm going to go on top of it with my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer as well. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation, and this is the shade Pecan, and it did work for me a couple weeks ago, but then I kind of lost some color, so it is a little bit too dark, but I went ahead and tried to make it work anyways. So now I'm just blending it all into my skin with my Real Techniques Diamond Sponge. And now I'm just building up the foundation where I needed some extra coverage. If you watched my first impression of this foundation, I used like 6 to 8 pumps, and this time I only used 3, and I think it worked a lot better for my skin this time. To cover up my dark circles, I'm using the Maybelline Dark Circle Eraser, and then on top of that for concealer, I'm using the Nars Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard. To blend it out, I'm using my Japanese concealer brush. And then I always go back over everything with my damp sponge, just to make sure everything is blended nicely together. Now to contour my nose, I'm taking the Colourpop Sculpting Stick in the shade New Renaissance, and I'm going to be trying out this new Artiste brush, and it's the Oval 3, and I'm not sure how I feel. It's kind of rough. It's actually not as soft as the dupe one that I usually use for it, so I don't know. I need to play with it some more, I think. Now I'm going in with a shade called Relive, and I'm just going on the sides of my nose and down the center just to contour and highlight it a little bit more, and I'm still using the same Artiste brush to blend it all out. I just wipe it off on a paper towel in between. Now I'm going to be contouring the rest of my face with the New Renaissance Sculpting Stick, and then I'm going to blend it out with the Artiste Oval 6 brush. And again, I don't really know how I feel about these brushes. You could see, I feel like I was struggling. They're really weird to work with. I think they're just going to take a little bit to get used to because you have to drag it to blend it out. So that's going to take a little bit for me to get used to. But I mean, I think it turned out okay. Again, I think these would be work better with a dewy foundation and not a matte foundation. So we'll see. And then back over everything with the damp sponge again to get rid of any harsh lines. Now I'm going to be setting my under eye with the Loreal Pro Glow powder, and I'm using my Morphe E48 brush. So first I had to get out all the creases, and now I'm setting it, and I really like this powder to set the concealer. Like, it's my new favorite. And then I'm just going to set my chin and my nose and my forehead as well. To bronze up my skin a little bit, I'm going into my Too Faced bronzer book, and I'm going to be using the Bronzed and Poreless bronzer in my Morphe E3. And I don't know if it was the bronzer or the foundation or a combination of both, but I felt like the bronzer wasn't blending out very well on top of this foundation, and I've never used this bronzer before out of that book. So I don't know, and it was really powdery. I noticed, like, whenever I use the milk chocolate or the chocolate soleil bronzer in the bronzer book, they're just fine, but for some reason this Bronzed and Poreless was like super powdery. Like, there's a ton of kickback. So I just decided I would go in with this Makeup Academy stippling brush just to try to blend everything together, and it did help. So now I'm going to be doing my brows off camera, and I'm using the Anastasia Dipbrow in Blonde and then this e.l.f. Light Brown Brow Cream. And now my brows are on. So for blush, I'm going to be taking this Colourpop Between the Sheets blush, and I've never used one of their cream blushes before, so I wasn't really sure what kind of brush to use. So I just used my Morphe M403 because it's kind of stiff, so I figured I should use a stiff brush as opposed to like a floppy one. And I don't know how I feel about these blushes, but I do really like the color. So just to top off my blush, I'm using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Rose Gold, and I'm just focusing this mainly on the apples of my cheeks and blending it back. And then for highlighter, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Bar of Gold. I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. And my Smashbox fan brush. To clean up my contour and my bronzer, I'm using the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D, and I'm taking the peachy shade and the yellow shade mixed together. To get started on the eyes, we're opening up the Lorac Pro Palette, and we're going to be setting our entire eye with the shade called Cream. For our transition shade, we're going to be going in with a shade called Taupe, and I'm just using a Sonia Kashuk blending brush. It came in like a set, I think, last year or the year before. And I did end up building this color up about 3 or 4 times to get the desired color that I wanted. So I just wanted to leave that in here so you guys could see. Now to deepen up the outer V, we're taking the shade called Espresso in my Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush, and I'm just focusing this on the outer V and blending it into the crease. with no additional product, I'm just going back in with that blending brush just so we don't have any harsh edges. Now we're going to be going into the shade called Gold and my MAC 242 brush, and I'm kind of doing a semi-cut crease, just not as precise, but I'm just focusing this on the inner corner to about the middle. And now I'm going back in with a little bit more of espresso. So I wanted that gold to pop a little bit more, so I went ahead and used some MAC Fix Plus, and then I'm just applying that gold some more, and it did exactly what I wanted. This was such a pretty shade. Oh my goodness. Now I'm just adding a little bit more of taupe to the crease and kind of around the outer V, just blending it all in together. And then I'm going to go back in with espresso and I'm going to deepen up the outer V as well. Starting on my lower lash line, I took a Sigma pencil brush and I'm using the shade called Taupe, and I'm just building up the color underneath there. Now I'm using a flat shader brush and I'm going in with a shade called Espresso, and I'm just pressing that up right against my lash line. And now back in with the taupe shade and the pencil brush just to buff those two colors together. Now I'm taking just whatever gold was left on the brush and I'm just putting that on the inner corner and bringing it to about the center, and I just thought it looked really pretty. Now to highlight my inner corners and my brow bone, I'm going in with the shade called Light Bronze. So I'm going to line my upper lash line. I'm not doing a wing or anything, I'm just lining it. I'm taking this L'Oreal Hip Brown Gel Eyeliner, and it's so old. I can't believe it even works still. Like, I need to throw it out. That thing has to be at least like 5 years old. But anyways, so I'm applying it with a Sigma eyeliner brush, and this is the E11. Now I'm tightlining with a little bit of MAC Costa Riche. Then I put a little bit of Costa Riche on my waterline, just on the outer parts as you see here. Then I'm taking this Sephora Nude eyeliner and I'm working that from the inner corner to the middle. To set my face, I'm using my NYX Dewy Makeup Setting Spray. Now I'm applying a little bit of mascara, and I'm using the L'Oreal Miss Manga mascara. So I had one lash, so I cut it in half and I'm just applying it on the outer corners. So while the glue dries on those lashes, I'm just applying some lower lash mascara. So So after I put my lashes on, I'm just going back in with a little bit of mascara just so I can blend my lashes in with the false lashes. To hide the lash line, I just went back in with a little bit more of that brown gel eyeliner. Now I'm going to be lining my lips with MAC Mahogany Lip Liner. For lips, I'm taking Blac Chyna's line. It's called Lashed, and I'm using the liquid lipstick in the shade Wild Orchid. This is so pretty. It doesn't dry matte or anything. It just is kind of like a vinyl, and I love it. It is so pretty. I'm glad I picked this lip combination.